What is up, guys? We're back, and I figured perfect way to start is with our cat cam here. So we were off a week. You know, real life sucks, getting in the way of us being able to record up some games and stuff, and some talking about Modern. And again, I don't know why I'm wearing my headphones, because we're not listening to anything, right? We don't need to worry about it. So we're gonna be talking about a new deck in Modern. It's rare that we get to do that. Oftentimes we've talked about decks that have been around for a while that are like, oh, everybody knows this deck. They just might not know all the details of it. So this one kind of popped up at a Star City Open up in Syracuse. Red-green Vengevine. Gets to see some sweet new cards in it. Well, really, like one, but that's cool. But it's like a aggro shell with graveyard power. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. One deck list to show you. Julian was the one that came up with the list. I guess was tweaking some stuff, saw some stuff on about how it could be used in Standard, and of course talking about Hollow One. How it could be used in Standard, and wanted to try it out in Modern. Didn't want to just use like a simple Dredge version. Wanted to try something a little bit kind of aggro oriented, and came up with this list and was like crushing day one. Ended up taking 35th place at the Open. Still very awesome for kind of a new deck running around there. So figured that would be the one to talk about today. So we're going to be going over that, go over the details, talk a little bit about what to expect with the deck, how it kind of plays out, some synergies, ways to kind of beat it, that sort of thing there. So let's talk a little bit about the list itself. So bam, as you can see, I'm going to hide behind this for a little bit. As you can see, here's our kind of rundown of lists, and I'll be talking about different cards and stuff for you guys to be able to enjoy and go over details. So it is a creature-based list, so we're going to talk more about the creatures. There's essentially 3 big dudes in this list, and let's talk about those. So, bam, 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 bam. Vengevine, Hollowed One, and Hooting Mandrills. So, our Vengevine is our creature that we're going to throw to the graveyard. We want him to come back by cheating him into play. Normally costs 4, alright, but we're going to try to cheat him into play, and he's got a 4/3 with haste. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the second creature spell you cast this turn, you can return them from your graveyard to the battlefield. So don't have to worry about paying that 4 mana. So here's our 2 cheat cost creatures, if you will. Hollowed One, Hooting Mandrills. Vengevine also has that cheat cost where you can just cast it from your graveyard in a way. Not technically casting, but returns it. But these guys, you get to interact by what you're doing on your turn. Dumping stuff into your graveyard, being able to delve it away with Hooting Mandrills, then you got a 4/4 trample. It can only cost 1 green, right? 5 to delve, no problem. You also have a bunch of fetch lands we'll get to later. It's going to fill up your graveyard. Hollowed One here normally costs 5. You can get them down to costing 1, get them costing nothing. Costs 2 less for each card you cycled or discarded this turn. And you can pay 2 and cycle them if you want. So you do have that option. So here's kind of our big guys, right? They're all at least 4 power. 4 toughness for Hollowed One, for Hooting Mandrills, Vengevine 3 toughness. But hey, Vengevine can come back, so we're not that worried. And there's not that many lightning bolts running around. So there's kind of our big guys, right? That's what we're thinking about. Now, to feed into our cycling plan, we also have Street Wraith, right? Not really a hard castable creature in this deck. It's a 3/4. I'm going to pay 2 life and cycle, right? I'm going to reduce the cost of my Hollowed One. That's what Street Wraith's there for. Then we've got 3 1-drops in this list. Monastery Swiftspear. Okay, seems pretty good. Everyone should know it from a burn list. If you don't, 1 cost, 1/2 haste with prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Insolent Neonate. If you've seen Dredge, this should be very familiar. 1 cost for 1/1 with Menace. Can't be blocked except for 2 more creatures. And you can discard a card and sacrifice Insolent Neonate to draw a card. So I'm going to discard that Vengevine if I wanted to, and then draw a card. Oh, but guess what? Because I discarded a card, Hollowed One costs 2 less. Look how crazy this is, guys. And then our other one is, of course, our Goblin Guide. So 3 Goblin Guides in the list. We've got 4 Neonates, 4 Swift Spears, 11 1-drops, and that doesn't include being able to delve Hooting Mandrills to a 1-drop, or cycle and discard a bunch of cards to get Hollowed One to a 1-drop. So you could be casting Vengevine on turn 2, or bringing it back from your graveyard on turn 2. So there is that little powerhouse aspect to it. So that's kind of the thing, is it's kind of this aggro deck with the Goblin Guides, with Neonates. You're not really going to keep that around. That's really an enabler. But you've got these 1-drops, right? Goblin Guide and Swift Spirit into these big guys. Vengevine, Hollowed One, and Hooting Mandrills. Like these 4 power creatures to kind of follow the back of these early drop creatures there. Spells, we've got kind of our power to go along with the aggro style of it, and then we've got our enablers for spells. So Become Immense, Game Ender, Temur Battle Rage, Game Ender. Lightning Bolt can get rid of creatures, can go face, however you want to play it. So again, it runs 2 delve aspects of it. Hooting Mandrills, Become Immense, trying out that route because, again, so many fetch lands in here, and then you've got some enablers that you're going to be discarding stuff, delve it away, kill somebody off, and I've seen people where they'll be like, well, I'm at 12 life, I'm not going to block your Swift Spear or something like that. It's just 1 point of damage, and then you're like, alright, Become Immense, sorry, not sorry. Like, that sort of fun aspect to it. So, Become Immense is pretty powerful, especially with Temur Battle Rage. Double Strike's great. Here's a 4/4 now with Double Strike. Like, by itself seems awesome. But, can gain Trample if it's got 4 or more power. So, enablers that we've got, Cathartic Reunion. Again, this is like these 2 cards, Faithless Looting, Cathartic Reunion, should be easy enough to remember if you guys had played Dredge or seen Dredge. So additional cost to cast this, you have to discard 2 cards and you draw 3. Well, guess what? Hollowed One is now 4 cheaper whenever I play Cathartic Reunion. Seems great. And I can throw my Vengevine in there, ready to be casting that. So Cathartic Reunion's great. This is another enable that we've got that discards 2 after you draw 2. So draw 2, discard 2, Hollowed One costs 1 again. And you can flash that back later on. So you see a lot of these enablers here, Cathartic Reunion, Faithless Looting. You've got your 1-drops, Insolent Neonate, Swift Spear, and our Goblin Guide. Now, depending on how this works, there's going to be plenty of times where you just, play a land turn 1 and pass. And turn 3, you've got your enable stuff, cast your Hollowed Ones pretty cheap, get your Vengevines back. It's like Cathartic Reunion is going to really help you out for the Hollowed One Vengevine style of things here. You could also use your Neonate aspects to it. So if you're going to be playing this deck, don't think about it as I need to just rush down my creatures as early as possible kind of thing, because you might want to just keep those 2 1-drops in your hand and play them both on turn 2 to be able to use that Vengevine stuff. Like turn 1, Faithless Looting, discard them. Turn 2, I'm going to be ready to drop down all that stuff. There's some fun aspects. So let's talk lands then. 4 snow covered. You don't have to have the snow covered. It's 4 mountains, right? 2 Copperline Gorge, red and green, cool. Our fast land, makes sense. And then 3 Stomping Grounds. Okay. That's not a lot of lands, right? That puts us at 9 lands. So that means 9 fetches. 3 Wooded Foothills, 3 Scalding Tarn, and 3 Bloodstained Mire. You see, here's our additional red ones. The Wooded Foothills works really well because, we want to get our Stomping Ground, we want to get our snow covered, but all of these, because they fetch for red sources, will find the lands that you need. It is light on lands, 18 lands. You can be able to keep those, 2 land hands. You can even get by with a 1 land hand if you have the right sort of draws to go into it, right? Faithless Looting, you've got Neonates in there, you've got a lot of 1-drop, Swift Spear, Goblin Guide, and you can be able to delve away a lot of stuff. You've got Street Wraith also in here, so again, it's like an aggro deck that has this kind of hidden graveyard fun involved in it. So definitely a kind of fun way to be playing Modern right now, using a card that was really not on a lot of people's radar. So that's really cool to see. Sideboard, we've got an additional Goblin Guide in here. This is kind of dealing against, if you're playing against white and they go, alright, rest in peace, say goodbye to your Hooting Mandrills, say goodbye to your Vengevine, you know, that sort of thing, and probably say goodbye to your Hollowed One. With 18 lands, it's going to be rare that you're going to be casting any of these 3 big creatures if Rest in Peace comes up. So having that Goblin Guide come in there basically allows you to kind of switch gears a little bit and kind of be ready to go for that more in-your-face strategy. Grim Lavamancer's in here. You know, maybe you need a little bit more targeted stuff. Deal a little bit of damage off it. Get some more value out of your graveyard stuff that you're throwing away. Seems good. Blood Moon. Hey, there's a bunch of 3-color decks running around. I really essentially have 2 colors. The other thing with the Blood Moon, though, is there are no basic forests in this list. None. So you really have to set yourself up nicely. Now, it's going to be easy to get your Hollowed One out, right? That doesn't matter. It'll be easy to be Swift Spear, Insolent Neonate, Goblin Guide, but Hooting Mandrills, not going to be able to be cast. Vengevine, you can be able to sneak out, but that essentially, if you're going that route, you're going to have to side out your Hooting Mandrills, just for those people sitting at home kind of wondering about that. Also, Become Immense is another one to kind of shave away if you try to go that more control-y route. Leyline of the Void, hey, you're playing against another graveyard-based strategy, but you still need yours, right? So Leyline of the Void is perfect. One of those opening hand ones since it's Leyline, and if a card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So just get out of here. Don't need to worry about it. So we've got some targeted removal towards artifacts. Boom. Ancient Grudge, 2 in there. 2 Destructive Revelry. Also does double duty against enchantments and deals some damage, so pretty nice. I need some life gain. I'm worried about some burn. Gain 5 life. Or, guess what? I have a creature with 4 or more power. Hey, look at those 3 creatures over there. Vengevine, Hollowed One, Hooting Mandrills. Guess what? Ferocious is turned on, so I gain 10 life now. So that's awesome. And a little bit more control-y. Domri Raid's in here. You know, I like it. It's rare we see him running around in Modern, so this is always fun. One of our 3 loyalty, 3-cost Planeswalkers. So, hey, 3-cost Planeswalkers, they seem to be thriving in Modern, so seems good. But +1, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you can reveal it and put it into your hand. -2, target creature fights target creature. You know, simple, easy. -7, get an emblem with creatures you control, double strike, trample, hexproof, and haste. Yes, seems great if you ever get up to that emblem there. And then a little bit more removal. Hey, let's get some roast in there. 5 damage target creature without flying. So again, it's a nice package overall on how it's set up. Maybe you can get by with a basic forest in there, but with it being 18 lands, the having the 1-drop reds is really important here. Like Swift Spear, Neonate, Goblin Guide, Faithless Looting. You want to be casting those early on. So if you're stuck with like, well, here's my basic forest and a 1-lander, but if this was a mountain, I would have been able to kept this hand. So that's why I think going for this route without any basic forest is fine. Just be aware if you sideboard into those Blood Moons going forward kind of thing. But it's got this explosive power to get people, you know, Become Immense, Temur Battle Rage. It's sweet. Really, like you would expect, because you're running Graveyard, be careful against white-based strategies, Rest in Peace, Path to Exile, things like that. But on the upside that this deck has is a lot of people are running Fatal Push, and our big creatures that we care about are not going to get hurt by this. So you can go, alright, Vengevine, sweet, your Fatal Push is now useless, unless you're going to be, you know, fetching something away. Cool, I lose Vengevine. Oh no, I'll just cast 2 creatures and bring it back. Hollowed One costs 5, so there's no way they're going to get a Revolt trigger to kill that off. Hooting Mandrills cost 6, no way that they're going to get a Revolt trigger to kill that off. So those are nice little aspects to it. you know, 4 power is still pretty good. When you think about like the Tron Eldrazi list or stuff like that, their stuff is those 4/4s, 5/5s, and so this kind of can kind of go toe to toe a little bit with those sort of decks and go over top of a lot of the other decks that are in the format. But again, you can go that sort of graveyard strategy. Rest in Peace, and this sort of exiles away cards from graveyards is a great way to deal with that, because it shuts down the 3 biggest threats in this deck. Now, it is still that aggro stuff of, hey, here's some low-to-the-ground creatures, Swift Spear, Goblin Guide, you know, that sort of stuff. I've got Become Immense, I've got Bolts, I've got Temur Battle Rage. You still have to be careful, because it can still come at you pretty quickly. So, you know, going forward, if you're going to play against this deck, fight it in the graveyard. That's kind of your best bet to kind of go about things there. So, but it's definitely a really cool strategy and not something that you would see as often. And I love that people are choosing to brew with new cards and test them out in Modern. So, you know, hope you guys like the list. It's a little bit different, a little bit maybe not as figured out as some of the other lists out there, and definitely something to start playing with some more. I'm sure you're going to be seeing a lot more of it on Magic Online. I know some people have been posting up other articles and testing it out and stuff, so this is, you know, potentially has the power to stick around for a little bit, especially since it gets around Fatal Push. But that's going to be it for this video here for Modern Meta Breakdown. I want to do kind of a little bit quicker, shorter one, just one deck to talk about this week, but it is a really fun and interesting deck. Also wanted to take the time to let people know that Modern Magic Mondays will be coming back soon. We're going to be kicking it back off in September. In the meantime, you know, I've been posting up Diablo videos. StarCraft Remastered just came out, so we're going to be going through that. I'll start streaming up the campaign for everybody that is interested in watching that side of things. But thanks again for all your support. Let me know what other decks you guys would like to see that we've been doing for a couple months now. We've been going through almost every list in Modern. There's still lots out there, guys. Don't worry, I will be highlighting at least the deck that you're playing at some point or another if I haven't already. But any other feedback that you guys like to have, let me know. I kind of moved it away so you guys can really focus in on the deck and not be distracted of all my crazy hand movements that I always do at the, you know, when I'm talking. So again, thanks so much for all the continued support that you guys have shown for Modern Meta Breakdown and for the videos that I've been producing. I am going to be attending the Standard event coming up for DC area, I guess, that Star Cities is hosting. So if you guys are in the area, you know, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter and stuff, and we can get together and hang out and stuff. So that's going to do it for this episode. I'll see you guys next game.